"You need a home, and I need a mother for my daughter," said the lonely CEO, millionaire, to the shivering nurse. The rain had been pouring for hours, a merciless storm that seemed to wash away every trace of warmth from the city streets. In front of St. Mary's Hospital, under the dim yellow glow of a flickering street lamp, a young woman sat huddled against the cold stone wall. Her clothes were damp, her hair clung to her face, and her thin frame shivered violently from both exhaustion and hunger. She had been dismissed from her night shift just an hour ago, yet she had nowhere to go. Her name was Eliza, a nurse whose life had been marked by sacrifice and heartbreak, a woman who had spent years caring for others yet had no one left to care for her. The world had stripped her of family, home, and hope, leaving her with nothing but the aching loneliness in her chest. It was at that moment, when she was at her weakest, that a black luxury car slowed beside the curb. Its headlights cut through the curtain of rain like sharp blades of light. The tinted window rolled down, and a man's voice, deep, steady, yet weary, cut through the storm. That voice belonged to Alexander Grayson, one of the city's most powerful CEOs, a man with wealth that most only dreamed of, but whose eyes carried a weight no riches could lift. He looked at her shivering, fragile frame and uttered the words that would change both their lives forever. "You need a home, and I need a mother for my daughter." Sparkles, if you believe in kindness, in second chances, and in the power of unexpected love to change lives, please take a moment to like this video, comment, share it with someone who needs hope, and subscribe to Royal Stories. Together, we spread light into the darkest corners of hearts. Sparkles. Eliza thought she was hallucinating. Who was this man to speak such words to her, a stranger in the night? But when she looked into his eyes through the open window, she saw something haunting, an emptiness that mirrored her own. Alexander Grayson was not just any man. He was known in the world of business as a ruthless, disciplined giant who had built an empire from the ground up. But beneath the crisp suits, the perfect image, and the sharp voice, there was a broken heart. 2 years ago, his wife had passed away suddenly, leaving him with a little girl who had since forgotten how to smile. Wealth could buy everything but the warmth of a family, and though Alexander had tried to give his daughter everything she wanted, he could not give her what she needed most, a mother's love. Eliza, at first, resisted. She was not ready to step into anyone's life, let alone that of a millionaire CEO and his grieving child. She was just a nurse who had been pushed into the streets after her landlord demanded months of overdue rent she couldn't pay. Her dreams of stability had crumbled with each passing day, and she had grown used to hiding her pain behind a soft smile for her patients. But when Alexander extended his hand, not as a businessman making an offer, but as a father pleading for his child, something inside her shifted. She followed him into the warmth of the car, unsure of what destiny awaited her. The first time she entered Alexander's mansion, she felt as though she had stepped into another world. Tall glass walls reflected the flickering light of the fire in the grand living room, and chandeliers glittered like frozen stars above her. Yet despite the richness around her, she could feel the chill of emptiness in the air, as though joy itself had been locked away behind the same walls. In the corner of the vast hall stood a little girl, no more than 6, with big brown eyes that carried the same sadness as her father's. Her name was Lily. She clutched a small teddy bear to her chest, as if it were the last thread keeping her from unraveling. When Eliza knelt before her, the child did not run away, but she did not smile either. She simply studied her with cautious eyes, silently asking if this stranger could truly be someone safe. Days turned into weeks, and slowly, the bond began to form. Eliza, though unsure of her place, began to bring warmth into the house with small, gentle acts, cooking simple meals, reading bedtime stories, brushing Lily's hair with patient care. For the first time in years, laughter began to echo faintly in the halls. Alexander, watching from afar, found himself drawn not just to the change in his daughter but to the woman who had made it possible. Eliza was not like the polished women of his world. She had no interest in his money, no agenda to climb higher. She had scars of her own, but she carried them with quiet strength. Yet, not everyone approved. Whispers soon began to circle among Alexander's business associates and extended family. She's just a nurse, she's after his wealth, she's unfit to stand beside him. Eliza heard the venom behind closed doors and felt the sting of judgment, but it was Lily's small arms wrapping around her waist at night that reminded her why she stayed. For the first time in her life, she felt needed, not for her profession or her duty, but for the love she could give. Alexander too was caught in his own storm. He had built walls around his heart after losing his wife, convincing himself that no one could ever take her place. But as he watched Eliza wipe tears from Lily's eyes, as he saw his daughter's world blossom again, he began to realize that love did not replace, it healed. And perhaps, he too was allowed a second chance. The turning point came one night when Lily fell ill with a high fever. Panic gripped Alexander like a vice, reminding him of the night he had lost his wife in the hospital. His empire, his wealth, his power, all of it meant nothing when faced with the fear of losing the only piece of his heart left. But it was Eliza who took charge, calming him with her steady hands and years of nursing instinct. She stayed by Lily's side all night, whispering comfort, cooling her forehead, never once closing her eyes. By morning, when Lily's fever finally broke, Alexander stood in the doorway, silently watching the two people who had become his entire world. In that moment, he knew he had not just found a nurse for his child, he had found the missing piece of their family. Life did not transform overnight, but it grew richer with every passing day. The mansion once filled with silence now rang with Lily's laughter, with shared dinners, with quiet conversations by the fire. Eliza, who had once sat alone in the rain with no place to go, now found herself embraced by the love she had longed for. And Alexander, the lonely CEO who thought his heart had died with his wife, discovered that sometimes, the universe sends love not when you seek it, but when you need it most. Sparkles, if this story touched your heart, please don't forget to like this video, share it with someone who needs hope, and subscribe to Royal Stories for more soul-stirring tales. Your comments, your thoughts, and your kindness mean more than you can imagine. Sparkles, before we end, here's a special request. Love letter, comment below what you believe is stronger, fate bringing people together, or the choice to stay and fight for love. I'd love to hear your heart.